Welcome back to the channel, guys. Captain Gonzo here, doing a quick follow-up to my Crystal Light versus Crystal Super video that we just put out a couple days ago in DCS World. First off, let me apologize, guys. I definitely had a big mix-up here in my settings, specifically in here, in the Pimax Play software. But here is where I'm going to show you the proof that I've made the changes as you guys all suggested. Now, keep in mind, I might have missed maybe one or two suggestions. I did see like 3 people recommending specific settings, and there was some similarities, but some people had specific suggestions. So again, I might not have everything one-to-one, but I made the changes that made sense to me according to what I read. And here we go. So Pimax Crystal Super, you can see everything here, confirming that it's the headset we're running. Refresh rate, I got out of the upscale lab mode, went down to 72 Hertz. Brightness down to 90, as I think 2 of you recommended. Light bar, I kept as is, as color was not an issue, but rather the bloom and the brightness. Eye tracking is enabled. Nothing here has changed. Let's go over to games. Here we go. So field of view, I went from the large lab mode to normal. Image quality, brought it down to 1.0, so we're back to the native resolution, 3840 by 3840. Got rid of the GPU upscaling, as you can see. None. And again, my apologies, because I had it running on FSR, not even realizing that that was an AMD feature for AMD GPUs. And if anything, I should have just tried the NIS for NVIDIA. But I'm keeping it off. And as one of you suggested, I had my sharpness. I don't know why I didn't set it, but I had it set to 0.2. And for some reason, it's at 0 now. But that's interesting. Yeah, let's go to 0.2. That's where I had it at. I might have to restart the headset, maybe. And I did restart the game, by the way, when I made that change. So anyways, that's going to give you an idea of what I have it set off. So no more GPU upscaling. Quad views is disabled through the Pimax Play software. No priority rendering, no smart soothing, no locking to half frame rate. None of this, as you guys suggested. Contrasts, kept them all neutral now to see if the brightness changes made a difference. General, nothing changes here for now. In advanced, local dimming, brought it down from high to, what is this, close to 3/4, maybe, I don't know, 5/8, whatever you guys want to call that. So that's the changes I made there. No offsets. I did see a comment there talking about adding 0.5 to each lens, but I don't have an issue at all, as based on what I can see on my IPD. So there we go. There is the evidence that I followed your advice as a community. I made the changes. And now let's take a look at DCS World settings itself before I hop into the F-14 back in Afghanistan, and we can compare performance. Okay, here we have the DCS launcher open. Let's go to the settings and start going through these one by one. Resolution, I've got it set down pretty low. Now, I've read online, again, correct me if I'm wrong, that while I'm doing the VR flying, having this at your native resolution for your display, in my case, it would be a 3440 by 1440, actually does draw some more resources from your hardware. So I set it down to 1280 by 1024 arbitrarily with no real reason other than to reduce the workload happening behind the scenes. Monitors just got one. Cockpit displays resolution, I kept it high, as I feel like that's pretty important, especially when we're flying the more advanced fighters or attack aircraft. Render cockpit displays every frame. Now I had it disabled, and I don't know why it's enabled. So let's go ahead and drop that down. There we go. Mirrors resolution 512. Figure, yeah, this could be maybe impacting a little bit, maybe not, who knows. Render mirrors every frame, nope. I actually selected sequential rendering, which improves performance. Anti-aliasing right now is not even an option because we are using upscaling, and there we go, DLSS. For performance and quality, I have it set to balanced. No sharpening done through the game. Textures high, terrain textures high. Shadows low. I removed the flat shadows blur. Secondary shadows and screen space shadows. I feel like I can drop these and definitely reduce a lot of my settings here. Maybe that'll help gain a few FPS. Who knows? Visibility range set to medium. Civilian traffic medium. Clouds ultra. Just like Flight Sim 2024, you'll see I like to have clouds pretty high. Now, if this is ultimately what's causing my performance, then all right, I'll be able to negotiate a little bit and bring it down. Water SSAO high. SSLR is set to on. Lens effect, dirt, heat blur high, motion blur is off. All this should be the same. Over here on the right side, I promise I did make some adjustments. I reduced the clutter and grass. I had it about 3/4 of the way. Same thing for the forest visibility, 75%. Forest details and scenery details reduced to 0.83, 0.82. I reduced the preload radius. Chimney smoke density, I've always kept it there in the middle. Gamma, no touching that at all. External field of view, that's just going to be when you switch to the outside cameras. LOD switch factor, reduced that one from wherever it was pretty high as well. Max FPS, I have it there at 165. Anisotropic filtering set to 16 times. Terrain object shadows to default, and so on. I do have VSync enabled, full screen, and cursor confined in game window. Again, let me know if for VR, if this actually impacts VR performance, because I am unfamiliar since I'm under the hood at that point. Okay, here we go. VR options. This is the one that some of you wanted me to verify. Pixel density indeed is set to 1.0. Last year, when I was using my Crystal Light and I was being a sucker for quality, I had this set to 1.5. But I've learned my lesson and I brought it down to 1.0. Other than that, through here, let's see, enable HMD, use DCS system resolution. I don't know if this is also impacting my performance here. But from what I've read, I think this is just applying specifically to the monitor. But again, correct me if I am wrong. Here we go, using quad view and eye tracking, as some of you suggested, to use it on the program itself and not through the Pimax Play. And then lastly, on the right-hand side here, guys, nothing really that I've used because I don't use the controllers. So now that you've seen it up front and firsthand, let me know, is this correct? Is this what you guys recommend, or am I overlooking yet another setting? Because you're about to see how the sim runs once I hop into the F-14 in Afghanistan, and then we'll make a conclusion yet again at the end of the video. All right, so here we go, guys. Back in the F-14, just like the previous video, we're in Afghanistan here in Bagram. We're gonna just take a quick look around. So first off, I can definitely notice a difference in the brightness right off the bat. I don't no longer see that chromatic aberration down the runway markings. Everything looks better. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the analytics inside of DCS World. It's control pause. Check it out. I hope you can see that clearly in the video. Right now it's showing low 20s, a current FPS with theoretical in the mid 30s, maybe low 40s there. All right, well, anyways, like I mentioned earlier in this video, guys, my apologies for not setting up everything correctly. I'm still learning everything with VR. But regardless, let's get ready for flight and see how this looks. Parking brake is released. Nose wheel steering is on. I think we're about ready to go. Let me just triple check everything. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. All right, here we go. Let's get on the power. We're going to light those afterburners. Nose wheel steering coming off. I want to see what happens to my frame rates per second once we're airborne here. Gear up, flaps up. Wing sweep to auto.
Traffic, F-14, 6 o'clock, high, 1 mile.
Okay, so slight improvement on the frame rates there, my FPS, but not a whole lot. Brightness definitely looking a lot better, I gotta admit. But yep, still getting that choppy-like behavior. And I know it's probably not going to show that on the recording.
6 o'clock row,
but
3 miles.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm still not convinced that this is worth the step up, especially if you are a Crystal Light owner. Looks great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The clarity is phenomenal. Going back to the native resolution, pixel density, as you saw on my settings for DCS, set to 1.0, but the performance is still lackluster in my opinion. Now, let me make another side note that I just discovered incidentally. So if you're an NVIDIA user like myself, you'll know that the NVIDIA overlay for that NVIDIA app likes to turn on, especially if you've got it enabled, when you start an application such as a game or a sim. And I believe the entire time that I was recording previously, there was a filter by NVIDIA for whatever reason that I didn't even want that was making the brightness the way it was. Because right now, I can definitely see the heads-up display a little bit better. Yeah, even against the clouds here going towards the sun, I can still read everything as I need to. So that I'm very happy with that we got the change there. But again, the performance is bothering me a little bit. Maybe I have to go and drop the sharpness inside Pimax Play. I have it set to 0.2 as you remember. And so maybe just bring that back down and just run this raw native resolution and see if that helps. But I'm just not convinced that this is the way to go. If I can enjoy a similar level of clarity by upscaling the resolution on my Crystal Light and keeping my graphics settings high or even higher than I currently have them, and I can still get better performance, then it's a no-brainer. Why would I need to keep messing with everything just to satisfy the Super's demands? So I don't know, guys. Feel free to drop some more comments. I really appreciate the feedback we're getting from all of you guys. It's the reason why I revisited this video so quickly, and it's because a lot of you were calling me out on my mistakes and my naivete, I guess that's the correct word, of what I was doing within the Pimax Play software that was ruining my experience. But here we are. Again, choppy performance. Yep, we're still averaging in the 20s frame rates per second, and to me this is, it's okay, it's doable, but it's not what I expected, especially when I upgraded to the 5090. So for me, the Crystal Light will remain the go-to headset for DCS World. And stay tuned because I am currently working on the Flight Sim 2024 video as well to compare them. And I'm going to follow the same advice you guys already gave me in the comments for my initial video. Alright guys, well I'm going to cut it here while I keep circling in the F-14 and testing this thing out. We'll see you guys on that next video for Flight Sim 2024 very, very soon. And once again, if you still see anything that I am doing incorrectly inside DCS settings or Pimax Play, don't be afraid to call me out and help me out here. I still got about 3.5 weeks left with this headset before I got to send it back. So we'll see how it goes until then. But the Crystal Light will stay with me as my go-to for a very, very long time. Alright guys, Captain Gonzo with that Flight Sim channel. See you on the next one.